Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and to provide some actual insight into what all of this information means. Most importantly, what you can do to apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Obviously, I'm not in the studio today. I'm out in Nashville, Tennessee. And so I don't have the American flag behind me today, but it is one of the main reasons why I proudly fly it behind me every single day. Is not only is it the greatest country on earth, but I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every single one of you do that as well. I got a very special guest. I'm going to bring him up right away. He is the best looking man in freight. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Kyle, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you, bud?
Dude, I'm doing good. Obviously I'm out here in a hotel. Like, I didn't even set up my real camera because there's no spot to put it to where it will actually have a good angle. So I'm going old school today, man. I was like
a gorilla.
Yeah, I'm like, if I don't have the camera, I'm not even going to set up the mics. We're going to go old school, and we're just going to roll with it, man.
Do you want me to get out the BlackBerry and I'll record on that?
You should. Absolutely, you should. That would be fantastic. So what's good today in your world, man?
Same old. Pretty quiet ho-hum freight markets, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, there's the freight market is operating the way it's designed to, and that's a fluctuation. And you know, at the end of the day, we got to come up here and find solutions for it. So, are you in Chicago right now?
I am. The meandering has led me back home. I'm in Chicago for now.
Kyle's a jet setter, you guys. Kyle's a jet setter. I love it.
If I'm going to be in freight, you have to be a road warrior, right?
Yeah, dude. I feel you there. I mean, I'm going to be.
Where are you?
I'm in Nashville right now. Yeah, I'm a member of this group called the Arete Syndicate, and it's an entrepreneur group, and they're doing their fall or their annual conference this weekend in Nashville. And yeah, man, then I'm heading back to Arizona, and then I'm actually going to be with Caroline Mayo here at the NMFTA in Washington, D.C., November 14th and 15th. I'm going to be doing my live show from there, and then we're going to be together in Dallas right after that as well. So we're going to be all over the place, and I'm looking forward to it. And why we're going to be out in Dallas, so as I was going to give a shout out to our friends over at VHub, you guys, vhubapp.com. You need to hit them up. Doesn't matter if you're a broker, carrier, or shipper alike. We all need access to trailers, especially right now, especially when you're trying to get in the door. When sales is challenging as a broker, you need to find a solution to provide to your customers. And right now, you can go on there and you can utilize VHub. And if you're a small fleet, you should never have to shut your operation down. And the best part about it is you get paid to do it. So what they're working on right now is they have Paragould, Arkansas going to Orting, Washington, and you get paid $15.50 to do that. For all my friends up in Canada, they got a Milton, Ontario to Montreal, Quebec for $250 Canadian. They have San Diego, California going to Millbury, Ohio for $600. And then they have San Diego, California going to Selma, Texas for $1,500. So you guys, that's on top of the revenue you get by putting freight in the back of that trailer. All right, so hit them up, you guys, vhubapp.com. My friend Stacey Steen and Xavier Campos, they'll be in the audience here. Just do me a favor. Let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Sean, what's going on? Let's fucking go. Tennessee Orange. That's right. You know what? That's exactly it. There's a big Tennessee game this weekend playing number 1 Georgia. Whitney Young, morning. Good to see you. Rick Wooten, it's Friday. That's right. Lewis, what's up, my man? Post-snap hotel room. The grind never – exactly. We're out here. Julia, good morning. Let's fucking go. So, dude, I want to jump into the first article because I talked about this the other day, and it was with Too Simple, and they fired their CEO, and it looks like there was some pretty inconspicuous dealings going on out there. So, were you familiar with Too Simple at all?
No, not individually, only because I'll be completely honest, I don't really pay attention to the AV space because I don't really care.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super cool stuff, but if we're going to be honest about it, it's not going to be on the road in a commercial format anytime soon. So,
yeah, they because they were doing that test out in Arizona, so they were running it between Tucson and Phoenix, and like when they did, like obviously they had done a bunch of closed road testing and everything that was going on out there for it. But yeah, so the first article, you guys, is from Fleet Owner, and it's Too Simple has fired its CEO, and then autonomous company Too Simple under federal investigation for improper ties to and transfer of technology to another Chinese startup has announced the decision by its board of directors to fire. I'm going to botch the last name, the name. Fired the CEO, president, and chief technology officer. It was also Xiaodi Hu. There you go. Yep. And then he was removed from his position as chairman of the board as well. And then a securities filing said an investigation by the company's board of directors found that Too Simple this year shared confidential information with Hydron, a Chinese startup company. Obviously, that is very, very bad. I don't know, man. It's crazy to think, like, because obviously the autonomous and the EV space has just been not getting a solid. Whoever the PR firms are in that space, they're loving it because they got a lot of shit. They're getting hired nonstop because you had this and then obviously Trevor Milton with Nikola recently as well. He, with all of that stuff, it's obviously that's a blanket statement. I'm not saying everybody who's in that space is committing fraud and treason and everything else or whatever you want to put it, but it's like it's almost like they got to get out of their own way here. Because not only is that a bad look, like people already hate the fact of autonomous and all of that stuff, and now it's like just adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah, I think anytime there's a large amount of investment, both public and private, so there are a lot of government grants, and there's obviously a lot of investment capital in the electric vehicle space and the autonomous vehicle space. When you have that amount of money, you have so many people willing to pour into it. You have so many people willing to give someone a chance. You have so many people willing to look the other way on a lot of things because the opportunity is there. There's a lot of rewards, so they're able to tolerate a lot of risk. And you get a lot of these weird bad actors, let's call them, like what happened at this company with, those connections to China were probably always there. Were probably pretty evident in hindsight, look obvious to everyone. But at the time, people are willing to look the other way, similar to the crazy accounting that went on at Nikola or at Tesla. Yeah. No, not Tesla. I'm sorry. Now I'm dragging their name through the mud, although they have their own funny accounting.
Yeah.
It's just it's a situation that's unfortunate because there's a lot of good. There's a lot of new technology that comes out of that space, but you have a lot of people who see it as nothing but other than a very large opportunity. So the bad actors will show up wherever that happens, and then you get situations like this. I mean, it happens in other areas as well. The constant battle from a U.S. security perspective, not to turn this freight show into that, but Chinese nationals that come here to learn, study, and stay, the question is always how much are they keeping to take back home?
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it. Like that, it is a very solid segue, by the way, there, Kyle. But I mean, it's true though. I mean, especially right now with all of the relations with China at an all-time low at the end of the day, and then you have something like this happening. I mean, again, it's like we need to protect our country from every angle, and if there are two people who are coming in, sharing inside information, because again, it's like you don't know how much, like, I mean, this is just a massive speculation, but what government information did Too Simple have? Like what because, again, current administration, what are they all about? They're all about shutting off the fucking oil and everything else in this country. And, so again, it's just like, for me personally, you don't know what they had behind the scenes. So clearly it was enough to where they were like, it's done. We got to fucking get rid of this guy. We got to move on. There was probably a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy is, arrested, or who knows, he's probably already fled the country.
Yeah. You crazy people out there in Arizona.
I know, right? That's what we're all about out here, man. Well, Not today. I'm in Nashville today. This place is fucking insane, though. I will say that. Erica, good fucking morning to you. Nick Rumor, good morning. Pat Green, good morning. Happy Friday. Zena, good morning. Good to see you out here. Richard Walton, good morning. Let me see. Dan, what's up, my man? He's out there rolling up, getting his load of berries. He's ready to rock. I love it. Thanks for joining in here. Bring on the berries, Dan. Yeah, it is. It is a pretty simple concept there, Nick. Just be honest. It's really weird. Zach Williams, what's up, my man? He's with SPI Logistics, you guys. If you guys want to become a freight agent, take control of your financial future, you should hit up Zach. Let me see here. Nick, he says, might focus on the future, but make sure we don't lose sight of today and help the drivers today. Yes. Yep, FBI Director Ray speaks on that topic. Kyle Provost, what's up, my man? And then that's why we keep manufacturing as much as possible in the U.S. and solved by U.S. engineers. Yes.
Spoken like a true American, Nick.
Exactly. Spoken like a true American who lives in Ireland. My man. But no, dude, it's true, though, because I think with a lot of that happening, this isn't an article or anything that we're going to be breaking down today, but like there are a lot of companies who are bringing a lot of manufacturing back here to the United States. And I think that as, I know that like the world economy and everything else, everybody wants to say that, but like, I think a lot of people were, I don't want to say caught off guard per se with like how everything happened with COVID and how like China can just shut down the entire fucking country and everything else. And then we have no goods. But like, I think that kind of opened up a lot of people's eyes to, hey, we do need to have everything here. Like we need to be completely self-sufficient. That's my honest opinion on it. I don't hide behind that fact, but it's true. Like we should trade because it's a benefit, not because we have to out of necessity and everything else, because like we have all the resources here to do everything.
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I wrote a little research piece about that when COVID hit. And then secondly, again, with the war in Ukraine. So the shift from overseas production on a lot of goods back here stateside, the reason why the stuff goes overseas is because it's cheaper to build it over there for labor costs and ship it here versus building it here with American labor costs and not shipping it. That all works as long as the risk does not outweigh what you're getting.
Correct.
Now that we've seen COVID and now that we've seen what happens when the international banking system gets set off to Russia, that risk is now greater. Companies more and more are shifting production of goods back stateside here, and that has freight implications. Instead of things coming into usually the port of LA, we've already seen what happens when all that stuff gets shifted to other ports. Now what happens 3, 4, 5 years down the road when there are less goods coming into the ports because they're produced here? What plants and facilities is that stuff coming out of? Will they be current ones or new builds? Probably a mixture of both. Where those are located and those freight flows that come out of it have serious direct consequences on what we do here with respect to freight.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it's like I don't know if we're even really seeing the I'm trying to think of the best way to put this without sounding like a complete dickbag, but I think I know I don't think that we've seen the real fallout yet between how the shift in freight and everything and the other ports and like with everything that's going on and like with the whatchamacallit in Ukraine and everything. I don't think like we've even really saw the beginning of like what disarray that this could possibly come, and that's the thing is it's just like we should never be that. And honestly, it's kind of a lot, we can just throw in the next article as well. And this one was from Transport Dive and it's California moves towards the zero emissions on heavy duty trucks. And for me personally, it's just like we are very, very fucking exposed right now as a country when it comes down to diesel, when it comes to our supply chain. There's a lot of weakness that's out there and it's seemingly very, very self-inflicted at this point. And it's like we're essentially one fucking windstorm away from this stuff all toppling over, and again, it's just like, I don't understand why we put ourselves in these situations, like I get it. I want to breathe cleaner air too. All right. I fully understand all of that stuff. But where we are right now, and especially with California talking about going to zero emissions and everything, like, we're not helping ourselves, like, at all. There is no benefit of this. How are you going to so, like, talking about the port of LA here, how, like, is it just going to be battery everything out there? Is that all the trucks?
That's where they want to take it. I don't think any of that stuff makes any sense unless it's collectively the entire country. To have one state have their own rules doesn't make a lot of sense. I wouldn't be surprised if this even does get passed and they go down that path if somebody doesn't file a lawsuit that prevents it for that reason and that reason alone. It doesn't allow for interoperability across state. We're going back into the days where trucks couldn't cross state lines, right? If you're going to have one set of rules for emissions in one state and different in the other 48 or 47, we'll exclude Hawaii and Alaska for now. That doesn't make any sense. And then we're going to end up happening. Everything's going to turn into drayage electric wise inside of California. And we will have to reroute all freight patterns to accommodate the emissions rules in one state. Because I hope by 2040 that electric vehicles can go farther than they can go now. But I don't know.
I just think, like, it, what's funny, Kyle, is you see, at least I don't know about in Illinois, but I know in Arizona, a lot of the political ads are about truck driving jobs, actually. And there's the incumbent senator, Mark Kelly, is talking about how he wants to, they clearly went and stole the headline of the 80,000 truck driver shortage, and he put it into his campaign. But he's sitting out here talking about, how we need drivers and everything else. But it's like you're literally affecting diesel. Like you're fucking driving people away from that industry. Like the policies that these administrations are putting in place are literally driving people away from the transportation industry. Like, why the fuck would you want to come in and drive a truck in California or anything like that with all of this stuff that's coming down? Because it's like, and again, it started off with CARB compliance, back in, I think it was like 2011 or 2012, where every single truck, reefer unit, any diesel engine in the state of California had to essentially be within 10 years old or it won't pass inspection. They can't come in and out of the state. Okay, so that affected everything. And now with this stuff that's coming out there, like, we're not even going to fucking bring up the disaster of AB5. I've put my opinion out there. It's fucking communism at its finest. I said what I said, and I will not fucking apologize for that. You cannot change my opinion on it. But California it's like they're trying to crumble the world's fifth largest economy. It's like they are trying to fucking destroy everything. Because, like, again, like, is that going to include ships too? Are we going to have battery powered fucking ships? Because they can't dock in California? Yeah.
I'm sure that'll get written into the law. Anything that is surface bound, not ocean. But you bring up a good point.
Yeah, I mean, trains too. Are we going to have battery powered trains? Is that next?
Maybe we do it. Well, here in Chicago, we have lots of electric trains.
Yeah, but isn't that just like the whatchamacallit, the downtown?
Yeah, the L, which stands for elevated train, not electric.
Oh, okay. You guys are so nice out there.
Hey, man, that's modern day tech built in 1900 something.
That's true. That's true. Let me see here. John Miller, interest rates and fuel is going to kill off a large truck line. A large truck
is not going to. Well, you know what? I don't want to speak for everyone, but John, it depends on how they set up their fuel surcharge, because at a lot of large carriers, that is a hidden profit center.
Yes. No, it's a massive profit center.
We'll see.
Caroline. Yeah. What Caroline says, I wonder if this is why the East Coast is getting more of the ship. Yeah, that's what it was. Is I think it with LA and everything, Long Beach and Oakland, a lot of it shifted out there, because of a lot of the dwell time where there was, 50, 60 ships that were waiting to get offloaded, where they essentially started routing them to Houston, Mobile, Jacksonville, Charleston, and I think is Newport News, Virginia? Is that the big?
It's Norfolk.
Norfolk, yeah, you're right.
And that's why. And no one wanted to deal with the dwell times. And now, even that it subsided, I think everyone was just afraid that by now we'd see the same problem bring its head back up again. This is usually the time when the Port of LA, Port of Long Beach, gets backed up. Everyone's chose to spread it across all of the other ports. It's nuts. It's great. I mean, that's the way it should be.
Yeah. See, Danny, lose the common sense with the DOT and government. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with that, sir. Kyle says trains are actually one area where electric works. Maglev Tech has been around a long time. Now, it's very true. But like in mass, though, how do you like? I don't know. I guess you could use the whatchamacallit. The battery powers itself. I'm drawing a fucking blank. No. Because I was driving an electric
the
truck.
perpetual motion ones where the brakes end up repowering.
Yes. Yep.
That's the recumbent stuff. Is the text there? What happens if you're not using that system though? Like if you're on the open road and you're just rolling, that's a problem.
No, definitely.
And all this stuff to me, it feels a lot like how people felt about cars when they were on the backs of horses 100-something years ago. I'm like, damn you and your automobile, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
Also cursing electric vehicles, and then in 15 years, we're all going to look back and think we're stupid.
Yeah, I agree with that to a point. I don't know if it's going to be. At the end of the day, man, I can't fucking say what's going to happen. Like, I'm just at the way that current policies and everything that are putting out there, I wouldn't be fucking surprised if they're going to make some very rash decision and say, oh, within 5 years, everybody has to have electric, and if you can't afford it, fuck yourself. I'm not going to go down my tinfoil hat rabbit hole on why there's a big push for electric vehicles out there. So last article we're going to get to, Kyle, we're actually going to get to 3 articles.
This will be 2 in a row, man. I thought last time it was just because we were in person, but maybe we figured it out finally.
No, I think we do, because I think we're getting more efficient. Well, here we are getting sidetracked.
I have to give you some credit on it. I think you've selected articles that have less emotional triggers inside of them.
I know, and I tried that because
this last one's going close.
I know it is. This last one's from FreightWaves, and Werner is ready to navigate the downturn. Noisy Q3 misses expectations. Dedicated continues to shine. Werner Enterprises said it's prepared for a subdued peak season, and management said that the business model is more durable today than it was heading into prior downturns. Werner's truckload fleet is 63% dedicated, which is, I thought that was kind of low. And then 25% of it is one-way truckload business constructed to be stickier in the past and everything else. And Derek Leathers, who's the chairman and CEO. Derek, if you want to join the show, I know some people from your organization watch it. Let Derek know he's more than welcome to come on the show. And then he says that, this downturn will be shallow as cost pressures are likely to push some small carriers out of the market quickly. It's crazy because it's like you heard, I don't know, man. You have a finance background, Kyle. How can you sit there on an earnings call and be like, yeah, we made a shitload of money, but it's going to, because like everybody fucking boasted record profits, but they were all billions in the green in Q3. And now what's that strategy? Like what, from that position, what's the strategy of coming out? Is it like essentially saying, is it like a pricing thing because we're in the middle of RFP season and everything else? Is that why large companies take that stance? Like, I'm just genuinely curious.
No.
Go down the rabbit hole.
It's the classic broker talking out of both sides of his mouth to a client. When they want to know if they should buy a stock, you tell them the reason why, and you also give them the reason why they could potentially lose money on it. So that if they do, when they call you back and say, what the hell, you can throw up your hands and say, well, I told you so. Yeah. These guys they have to talk about what is known, which was the record or near record profits. And then to give themselves cover for the future, whether they believe it or not, you say that the indications for the future will not be this. So you've already put that out there into the atmosphere that people shouldn't expect what they've already seen, so that if there is underperformance on the company, they can't turn around and say, what the hell, the CEO has cover to say, I gave you guys a heads up on this, to the CFO, whoever ran the earnings call. I think with this particular instance, and in the ones that we've seen, though, There's a little bit of truth and belief in that. I think a lot of these guys expect less to happen for this season. Everyone and their mother has said this will be a subdued peak season because there's going to be a lower amount of consumer spend. Whether that happens or not, we'll see. I don't think it's necessarily a given. I mean, post-COVID, how many times have we said the U.S. consumer is dead and they're not going to respond in the way that they have, only to see continuous records set in retail sales? So the peak season from a freight perspective might be a little bit less just because we don't have the issues we had in the past as far as trucks being in the right place at the right time. Right now, we're pretty well balanced on all of that stuff. So even if we do see blockbuster consumer demand, the goods are on the shelves and they're in the warehouses where they need to be. It won't be the serious problems that we had like in 20 and 21. But that's not to say that we can't see a bump in demand that pulls a bump in spot prices. I mean, all it takes is the same stuff we talk about every year. What if we have the small weather event that disrupts one marketplace? It just has to be big enough, and that will affect the entire country. It could be the freight flows from one port now that we've shifted them to other areas of the country. We were all really good, even if we did have the large dwell times of taking stuff from Southern California to all points north and east of there. Now that we're coming from every angle of the country, how prepared are we for a disruption to the event inside of the network if we're coming from a different origination point versus Southern California? So there's all of these situations and there's all these unknowns that we don't have the answer for. I don't like the blanket statement of, this peak season is going to be quiet. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, maybe not. It's not like and this goes for everything post-COVID. Just because the amounts and the levels are down does not mean they are bad. We all do not want a repeat of what we previously saw. So this could be a tremendous, tremendous peak season. But in comparison, yes, everything's going to look different to 20 and 21.
Yeah, and that's what's tough, because it's like you hear a lot of this stuff, Kyle, and a lot, like, what's crazy is I just wrote down an article yesterday, like there's still record numbers of authorities being granted, and again, like I was talking with my buddy Chris yesterday, like, don't fucking pay attention to the noise. Like, if you're going to take it's going to be a risk no matter what market it's in. Good market, bad market, it's always going to be a risk. But the fact of the matter is, and this is what people need to pay attention to the most, I think, freight is still moving. And I say this a lot, and some of you who follow me are going to hear this and be like, you say this all the time, but at the end of the day, it's fucking true. Freight is still moving. There is an opportunity out here. All right. What Q1 is going to look like in 2023, you guys, is the spot market is going to be damn near non-existent. All right. It is going to be non-existent because people bid and they will go out, and I call them the Q1 All-Stars, you guys, because capacity is at a very high mark in Q1. Freight volumes dip every single first quarter. And then what it is people bid for volume. All right. They go out there, they take volume. They would rather have the revenue on their books than not. And then eventually what will happen is the uptick will happen when the higher paying customers start shipping freight again. Then the tender rejections start to happen. People are going to reject their contracted loads. That's going to start that, and that's going to put some fuel in the fire of the spot market. At some point next year, I don't know when, I don't have any fancy graphs to show you with an arrow pointing up or down, so I can't say what month. There will be a rebalance where contracted rates will be very much aligned with spot market, and then people are going to roll the dice. They're going to start rolling the dice to see which market they can make the most money in. So then the spot market's going to increase at some point. And I think, like, again, this is how a normal freight market operates. When you remove 2020 and 2021 from the equation, yes, it was a thing and it actually happened, but the pattern of that market for the last 2 years was an anomaly, okay? This is how a freight market operates. This is going to be normal. So, like, get prepared, you guys. As a broker, you make your money in volume, plain and simple. You don't make those one-hit wonders, not in the legal dry, reefer, and flatbed worlds.
You're right, man. I have this. I'm not going to call it an argument. It's a debate that just continues of. So people believe spot market should always be above contract, and that's what's normal because the spot is ad hoc, it's unplanned. You need to disincentivize people from using it / punish them for doing it. the preference is contract. I disagree with that because since 2019, we are now up to 21% of all freight is run through a brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
The only way a brokerage can run profitable freight is if the contract rate exceeds spot. Otherwise, they're losing money every time they source capacity.
Yeah.
We're up to more than 1/5 of all business now goes through a broker. I don't see a situation where contract cannot always be outside of spot. It always has to be higher. Plus, what then if we went back the other way, what would be the reasoning for a carrier to ever run contract? They could just run complete. I know you like the consistency, you want the predictability in your routing, but if every load you took was a high rate load, it wouldn't matter where the trucks were. Contract must exceed spot. That makes today's current environment normal, which means this is how we should always see it moving forward. And it works for other ways as well. Like that is what we should be rewarding anyway, right? We should be rewarding brokers who find trucks and run them on a dedicated business, which only works when we have contract exceeding spot. If we have it the other way, we're promoting the one-off jackass that just wants to find spot loads, be it the one-off jackass that's a carrier or a broker. So get used to contract being ahead of spot. Get used to trying to get on RFPs. Get used to finding I'll say it because I'm on your show, finding a fucking carrier to run
there we go.
Instead of one-off Charlieing everything.
That's the first time Kyle said fuck, and he's been on my show like 9 times. Thank you. I love it. No, no, you're right, man. And at the end of the day, you guys, you got to be focused on what you can control in your business. All right. Don't pay attention to the noise. All right. There's always going to be noise. There's always going to be somebody out there saying one thing or another, but that does not affect your business. What can you control? Control the controllables and focus on that. Dan Penrod says, there it is. Oh, man. Well, dude, that of course, these 30 minutes flies by all the time. You guys know how to find Kyle. I'm not even – he doesn't need to DM Kyle. He's got one button down today on his shirt. He's fucking looking dapper. But that's it for today, you guys. I got a brand new episode of the podcast out. It's with my friend John Pruitt. You guys, he is a shipper. All right. He is the people that we talk to. He is providing a ton of insight into 2023 strategy. Do me a favor. Don't blow up his DMs about how you guys can fucking save him money and stuff like that. All right. Please just listen to the episode. There is a ton of value on strategy for next year and what to expect in the market and what he's seen from his perspective. But yeah, that's it. You guys, the replay will be out on the YouTube channel, The Freight Coach. Coffee with the Freight Coach, audio only replay. This will be available later on. That's it for today, you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll see you on Monday. The Freight Coach Morning Show. We are the top morning show in transportation. Have a great weekend, everybody.